Thank you for joining me on my masterclass. Now, today I'm going to be taking a question from Funke. Now, Funke is in Nigeria and she's asking a question. She says, Pastor Reno, now, should I have conditions for my prospective husband? Should I have conditions for my prospective husband? And that's a question. Now, the issue here is that I don't think women or anybody else should have conditions before marriage or for relationships. I think you should have standards. Standards are okay. Everybody should have standards. We see even in scripture, people have standards or people had standards, but conditions are a completely different thing. Now, standards tend to be about the person's belief system or their physical looks, and conditions tend to be about their locations or their financial positions. So it's better, or rather, it's more suitable for you to have conditions for business and then standards for relationships. But when you have conditions for relationships, then it makes that relationship look like a business. So I'll give you a very good example. As a woman, you might want to have some standards. Maybe you want a tall, dark, and handsome person. And that's okay because probably that's the kind of person that you are sexually attracted to, and you don't want to get married to someone you're not physically attracted to so that you do not cheat in the relationship. It makes a lot of sense. And then also, perhaps maybe you are a Christian and you would like someone that shares your belief system. That's very reasonable. You know, I want a Christian because I'm also a Christian, because that way two can work together because they agree. And then also you might say, okay, well, I'm a graduate, and because I'm a graduate, I would also want to marry a graduate. Now, those are standards, they make sense. But here's the thing, for standards, you also have to be a standard person before you have standards like that. Because you can't be a substandard person and then have such standards. For instance, you can be a person who is not God fearing, who has a bad reputation, and then you are insisting that, oh, I want a good man. Or you can be a person who is maybe the opposite of tall, dark, and handsome, and then you say, I want a tall, dark, and handsome person, and I insist on that. The equation is not balanced. So, as a person who wants standards, you have to have some standards yourself so that the equation is balanced. So, when I talk about standards, I don't talk about your body parts. For instance, what makes you a woman, the body parts that makes you a woman is not doesn't give you standards at all, because at least 4 billion other people on earth have those. So if you want to depend on that as your standards or as what you're bringing into the relationship, then you're not being very wise, because a man can easily replace you if that's the case. So you want to have standards that are real, that are maybe virtues, that are probably maybe your physical abilities, and then your belief system. Those are the kind of standards that we're talking about. Now, for conditions, a woman, not even a woman, nobody should have conditions for marriage, because, or for relationship, because then you're making the marriage or the relationship a business. Now, for some people, they will say, okay, the man has to be rich, or the man has to be able to maintain me, or the man has to be able to pay my bill. What you have to understand is that as a woman, before you enter into marriage, it's good for you on your own to be independently successful enough to foot your own bills. So you're independently successful enough to foot your own bills. So that means that you are self-sustaining. Or if you're a religious person, you are God-sustained. So in that case, then, if you want a man who is financially successful, that man is a bonus to you. It's a bonus to you because you're already footing your own bills. But then if you're not footing your own bills, you're not financially successful, but then you are a high maintenance person, so you want a man to foot your own bills, then that man is no longer a bonus to you. The man becomes a necessity to you. So once the man is a necessity to you, then you got to ask yourself, are you a necessity to the man? No. So that means that the man needs you less than you need him. In that case, then it's going to be the man. If anybody should give conditions, it's going to be the man giving conditions to you. Because let's face it, nowadays, you can take almost any woman, give her to a makeup artist, and then that woman is going to be beautiful. You can take literally an unkempt beggar from the street, give her to a makeup artist. I've seen it happen several times. That makeup artist can make her beautiful overnight. So when you say, oh, you're beautiful, look, anybody can buy a fake hair wig, bone straight hair or human hair, whatever you have. Or they can buy foundation, they can buy fake lashes, they can buy nails, they can buy organic creams, and voila, overnight they're beautiful. So when you say, oh, I'm beautiful, I mean, that is really not something you're bringing into a relationship or into a marriage. So if you look at it now, I'm going to give you some statistics. There are 4 billion women on planet Earth. As an estimated 4 billion women on planet Earth, right? Now, of those 4 billion, it's estimated that something like 2.9 billion of them are naturally beautiful. The rest of them can be made beautiful by enhancement. But then if you look at it now, there are only $56 million millionaires on Earth. $56 million millionaires on Earth. Now, of those 56 million, 40% are in the United States. 40%. So you can research this yourself, I mean, before I talk, I always do my research. So the rest of the world, that is 8.7 billion people share the remaining $30 million millionaires. The rest of the world, 7.7 billion people share the remaining $30 million millionaires. Now, Funke, that's her name, right? Her name is Funke. So Funke, you're from Nigeria. Nigeria's share of that $30 million millionaires, Nigeria's share of that $30 million millionaires is actually 100,000. So Nigeria has 100,000 millionaire men. Okay, sorry, no, just $100,000 millionaires. Of that figure, of that $100,000 millionaires, something like 92% are male. Nigeria is one of those countries with a high proportion of its successful people being males. Other countries, well, males still top, but Nigeria has an unusually high. So about 92% of them are male. Now, in Nigeria, you've got 80 million adult females. 80 million adult females, right? Now, of those 80 million adult females, so you're looking at them, 80 million adult females, something like maybe 60 million are going to be beautiful, or they can be beautiful by enhancement. So you have 100,000 millionaires, and you've got 60 million women. 60 million women who are beautiful. The ratio between you and the men is over 600 to 1. Over 600 to 1. So if you are among that 600, and then you want to be giving conditions to the 100,000, which represent 1 to 600, you're not being very wise. It's like an asset, that's the man, is not giving you conditions. You are a liability. Because in 20 years, probably maybe 25 years, maximum 30 years, your beauty is going to be extremely diminished. But the thing about success is that with age, it increases. So in other words, if you are relying on just your beauty to be giving conditions to men, you are a liability. So you are a liability giving conditions to an asset. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. And then even if the man is foolish to fall for that, in maybe 10 years when your beauty begins to diminish, he's just going to start, cheating. Maybe he's going to go into polygamy. He's going to have a side chick or a second wife. And where are you going to be? So you don't want to be giving conditions. What you want to do is that you want to have standards, and then you're going to be better able to have a good husband. And then you maintain the home, you're very loving, you make your husband happy, he makes you happy, and then that home is going to be secure. But if you go into the home with the idea that I've got to give him conditions, I've got my conditions, I'm a fine girl, I'm a fly babe, I've got to have conditions, he must be able to do this, he must have a range, he must have a car, he must be able to foot all my bills. Listen, you are going about it the wrong way. Now, I hope I've answered your question. Normally when I do my masterclasses, it tends to be about money. But I just wanted to do, because I saw a number of questions, and then I saw Funke's questions, and I said, okay, well, maybe I should take a relational question to sort of balance my masterclasses. Now, if you watch this and you have questions arising from this, maybe you can put them in the comment section of this video, and my staff are going to bring them to me, and I'll do my best to respond to each and every category. Now, this is Pastor Reno, the Apostle of Prosperity, saying God bless you.
But Reno travels all around the world. I hope you get inspired about what you see. Apostle of greatness, Reno is a master. Only one man against the whole world in large. Fighting with the monsters, poverty I can't stand. That's why Reno is